juice, got the juice.
Hey guys, it's your girl Alma from NSR, and I'm really, really excited to be here today on this interview because we are the debut interview of Brandon Harris's most recent album release, Salt. So, to introduce you guys, Brandon Harris and Raven Moran,
How y'all
repping
doing?
Chicago and Houston, Texas today.
Chicago.
Say hello to your peoples,
Hey y'all. Love y'all, Chicago.
as you should. So,
Hello, Houston.
hello,
Hey Houston. Hey Beyonce. How are you, girl?
Hey, I'm actually kind of fangirling to be here because you guys are like the magical musical duo that's really popping on the scene right now. So, what made you two want to work together in the first place?
To be honest, we were kind of already friends. Like we had this like natural vibe as people and friends, and just I really attached his personality. When you're coming up and like you're just looking for people to work with, naturally you just vibe with people and you work with people who are like you, and that's just kind of how I was like, do you need beats? He was
Yeah.
like, I need beats.
Yeah, right off the bat, me and Raven clicked as friends and as, musical partners. Like right off the bat, it was hit the ground running. It was the cover of Kendrick Lamar's Love that we put on SoundCloud during our first semester at Berkeley, and that was like the first thing we ever sat down and was like, yeah, let's record, let's mix, let's do all this stuff. And it was wild. It was a wild time, and it's crazy how we've gone from that to now putting out this album that she mixed, mastered, engineered. Like, that's wild.
Wow.
Produced.
First off, power to women.
Wow.
not enough-
Shout out to all the women, for real. Shout out to all the women doing this, because we just got to be out here.
No,
That's
seriously, there aren't a lot of women producers out there in the industry now. So it's really great to see a great woman like you and a great man like you working together. I love it. So you talk about your first project. What's your favorite project? Because you guys have worked on a lot together.
I'm gonna say the album, like this
Okay.
album that just came out. I feel like this was a very new direction for both of us, and we both put a lot of time and a lot of emotion and feeling and just a lot of ourselves behind it. Wanna, which is a song we did with Eric and Harold, like that's been like a quote unquote crowd favorite. I hate saying crowd favorite because
Yeah.
it sounds like but like every time we've like done it in like a show or like somebody will like play it or whatever, like people sing it, and that's like crazy to us. Like,
No,
that's-
it's a great song. Available on all musical platforms, by
Yeah.
the way.
That's super surreal to just hear people like singing, something that you really put a lot of time into.
we always talk about how Wanna was like the hardest song for me to write and one of the hardest songs for her to produce, just because we were so focused on getting it right. Like, I didn't want to write too much and have the song be like, oh my God, you're saying too much. But I also didn't want to be like, wow, this is like some generic pop, like this is weak. So it was hard, but it ended up being like a great product. That was the first song like that I've ever written, sung on anything. Like,
Okay.
that has such a different feel from a lot of other music that I've put out before.
So, like, from a producer standpoint, how did you start that process? Like, what steps did you take to make a beat like that?
So the track was inspired by, I don't know if you've heard Calvin Harris's Funk Wave
Yeah.
with like Slide
Great
and
album.
all of that
Great
stuff.
album.
I had kind of been just diving into that project for so long. Like, I couldn't get it out of my head. I was like, wow, this stuff is great. Like, he's really onto something. I mean, it's fun, it's different, not a lot of people are doing it. And I was just diving into it, and I was like, I want to try this. Like, I want to try something like this.
So, it's a way to challenge yourself.
Exactly. And I don't know, I think we did a pretty good job.
I think we did.
No, you guys did a great job. So, from this song, did you learn from this song to always push yourselves when it comes to making music and stuff?
I definitely. I think from the moment that we started working together, period, we have consistently tried to, I guess, like outdo the last thing. We don't want anything to be the same, I guess, experience for a listener. We want to take everything we've learned and then master it, and then boom, like keep it's that progression that we keep trying to make sure happens, because we don't want to stay stagnant. We don't want people to get bored. You know?
No, I think it's really interesting to watch you two work, because it's usually just one person, and then they do all the work, and they kind of every now and then include people into the mix. But you guys work so well together, and it's so rare when two people just like think the same and they work the same, and then there's no like confusion as to what's everyone's place. Like, I don't know how to explain it. You guys just like understand the work has to be done and what your places are, and then how you two can work together to get to that place that you want to get to. When people learn more about who you two are, they'll be more open to letting other people into the process. Talk to me about this album. What is what made you come up with the title SALT? What does it stand for?
There you go.
Honestly, I think that the title SALT started out as a joke. I think it started.
Are
out
you
as
serious?
No, I'm so serious. I think the title SALT started out as a joke because every time I'm talking to anybody about like albums and album names and whatnot, I've always been a person to like one word things. Like I don't like too much. Like I like it to be minimalistic.
No, I'm the same way.
So I was really just going through like, I guess just a list of basic words, and SALT was one of them, and I was like, what if I call this SALT? And then I was like, no, that absolutely it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing to me. This was summer of 2018. The meaning of the album being called SALT kind of just kept showing itself. The title track SALT is about a specific situation that I went through where I couldn't get over what somebody, I guess, used to be to me.
Right.
And everything that they had did after the fact, it hurt so bad because I was thinking about the fact that how they used to be so sweet. And like now, opposite of sweet, SALT. I think that it has a lot of different meanings, like specifically for me, and I think that just every song can touch on a different reason.
What was your favorite moment while creating the album?
You want to answer first?
I don't know if you even remember this.
Oh gosh.
So there was a night where we had recorded one of the songs. We recorded Ghost. And it sounded great. Like, he just went in there and he did it. And we invited our friend Eric.
Okay.
He's phenomenal. He's
Genius.
an artist, but behind the scenes, like behind the boards, he knows a lot too. So I kind of always have him come in as like a validation that we're heading the right way as far as the mixing process. He heard it and was like, what mic did you record on? Like, he asks these little questions, and then you feel that energy like, ooh, something's wrong.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, what mic did you record on? I was like, ooh, I don't really remember. And he was like, it just sounds a little muffled. And I was like, ooh, cool. So what does that mean? I was like, what are you trying to say to me, Eric? He was basically trying to tell us that we needed to re-record the whole thing. But that was one of the hardest songs to record, I feel like.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, a lot of background stuff going on, a lot of high
emotion.
notes, a lot going on, yeah.
Yeah.
So I came to him and said, well, Eric said we got to re-record this. And he was like, no. It sucks when you got to get the quality right. You got to do everything over again, but it's got to sound the best. So he was like, no. So I was like, all right. It's got to get done at some point. You want to record Ghost? We go into the studio the next day. No. Cool. Next day. You trying to record Ghost?
I'm crying.
No. And he put it off for a good 2 weeks. Yeah. Like a good 2.5 weeks, and he didn't want to re-record it, and he just recorded like all the rest of the songs, maybe like 4 or 5 songs. And then one night he was like, it's time to tackle the beast.
It was I guess it was just more internally. Every time I thought about it, every time I thought about the fact that, I had to do it again, I had to get the best take, I was always, in my head, like,
Right.
I can't get it out. I can't
Yeah.
do it. And, there were obviously some nights where I was like, it was me, just knowing myself, like, vocally and being like, yeah, no, it's probably not going to work tonight. But, like, it was also other nights where it was just like, I don't feel like I can give what I know this song needs. Which, like, takes me back to, like, my favorite moment. It was the first song we started mixing for the album. It was the intro song, Late Night Radio. We were in the studio, and I remember, like, we were mixing it, and we had finally, like finished, and was like, okay, let's play it back. And we were playing it back. And, like, in the middle of playing it back, I just started crying. I was in the back of the room, like, crying, because I was like, whoa, like, this is real. Like,
Yeah.
it always amazes me to have all these ideas and thoughts and stuff in my head and watch them come to life. But not only watch them come to life, have, people like Raven, like my best friend, here with me, helping me to have it come to life, and not only helping me, but believing in the same vision that I have, even when I don't believe in it. It was so many times during recording the album, during trying to make sure the show was, like, straight, so many times where I was discouraged, and I was like, this is not going to be it. This is not going to be good. I was, disappointed. I was feeling down, and every time, Raven was always there to be like, no, like, you got this. Like, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just really crazy. It's a blessing to have someone who believes in your vision just as much, if not more, than you do.
So since you guys work so closely together, and, like I mentioned before, you guys have your own separate things that you do, but do you guys find it helpful to always have that partner with you in the studio?
Yes.
Yeah, it's always helpful.
Yes.
Like, me and Raven butt heads, we do, because she's annoying and I'm annoying.
Wow.
So, like, that's just what we do. But at the end of the day, like, I think, especially in our case, like, Raven respects me so much as an artist, and knowing that I know my craft, and also I respect Raven so much as a producer, knowing that she knows her craft. So, like, we don't get in each other's way.
Yeah.
Like, we don't get in each other's way about how stuff should sound, or what this should be like. Like, we work together. We make sure we work together on making sure that things are,
I think that's a key thing. Like, there's not a lot of, from a producer standpoint, like, there's not a lot of artists who are very involved in, like, the process of how the final track sounds, or, like, how a final mix will sound. They just sing, go home. You know what I'm saying?
And then,
But Brandon is super involved in the process. Like, he'll say, do you think maybe this instrument could drop out here, or something like that? Or we'll have a mix session and he'll be there and he'll offer things about, like, what type of plugins to put here. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's super involved and very aware of, like, what's going on, and that's very helpful for me, because at the end of the day, like, it's his vision, that I'm trying to make come to life, and I can't do that, like, without your help and your guidance. And he's very involved in the process. I think
right.
that's a super helpful thing as far as working together. You know what I'm saying?
And I've said from the beginning, like, I tell Raven all the time, I'm like, this is just as much my album as it is yours at this point, because literally Raven has been every song, every step of the way, every mix, every master, every recording session. Like, this is just as much her baby as it is, my baby. We put
Screaming.
we put all into it.
So, I know that you guys have a long time before you graduate college and stuff like that.
Woo.
But
Yeah. Not trying to do that just yet.
when it's time for you guys to graduate,
We still gonna be together.
Oh yeah, we already done planned this
We
house
still gonna be
in
together.
Cali.
When we graduate, we still gonna be together.
There's a traditional question that we ask that you guys should know about already, but I'm gonna say it again.
I'ma
NSR
say it
was
again.
founded literally by a Facebook post. What does music mean to you in one word? So, in one word, each of you describe music and why.
So I'm gonna say music is healing. Whenever I'm down or whenever I'm going through something, music is just it. I'll shut the world out. I'll put my earphones on. I'll pick up my guitar.
She does. She sets us all out.
I'll make a beat. Brings a lot of people together. It's a communal thing, and I love that about music. And I would also say that music is purpose. We do this for a reason. The lack of sleep, the lack of energy throughout the day. We don't eat sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So that we can have time to go to the studio, where our lunch breaks will be 2 to 4. We'll go to the studio 2 to 4. It's just purpose. You know what I'm saying? It reminds you why you do what you need to do.
With one word, I would say consistent. The gift of music has always been there for me, through every up, through every down, and it's always been something to keep me sane, to keep me, keep giving me purpose, keep, healing me, keep making me feel good, keep comforting me through bad times. God really knew what he was doing when he created music.
This is the end of our NSR interview. I've actually been with them since they first got here, and you guys have grown so much. So
thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for
Thank
being
you for
here.
this platform. For people, for real, for aspiring artists who want to come up and do this, they can come here.
And
you
I
can
love
discover
I
them.
love
They can
the
tell their
color
story.
match.
Wow.
So yeah, guys, watch out for his album Salt. It's gonna be available on all music platforms. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Y'all need to hear this album. It is a summer bop. It's honestly an all year round bop, but so check it out. Salt.
We gon' ball, yeah. We gon' ball, yeah. So my dogs, we gon' get this money, oh yeah. We gon' ball, yeah. We gon' ball, yeah.